Hello my friends, let's read some comments, shall we? They sure are all positive. What's this? Artur Rehi's hairline is retreating like France on 1940. What? Is it? Oh damn, it is! Oh, it's just one comment. Don't mind it, it's just one comment. I shouldn't get upset for one comment. Let's look at another comment. Love your channel. Oh, lovely. Concern for your hairline, Artur. No disrespect. What is with my hairline? Not that bad. Let's look at some more. I watch you because it makes me feel better about my own hairline. Alright. Am I going bald? Am I really going bald? Oh no, I'm going bald. Well, you know who cannot go bald. There's an entity in this world that cannot go bald, and that's fish. Fish cannot go bald because they don't have hair, duh. But yeah, about the going bald thing, yes, my father is bald, and in Eastern Europe, most men go bald when they get old, because that's Eastern European genes, and I am from Estonia, so I will go bald, and I don't really care much about it. But I know it's a huge deal in America, and people would rather, I don't know, go to North Korea than go bald. So, for you guys who are worried about my hairline, yes, it is retreating like France in 1940, and I don't really care. Make fun about it, we get some fun comments, and I will put them in the video if you want to. Look at my hairline, I'm going bald, everybody! And now, we will talk about Desert Storm. I found this really cool channel called The Operations Room. It is recommended by you guys. I actually asked, what should I watch? You guys said Operations Room, and we shall do that today. The crowds have spoken! This is Desert Storm, the air battle, day 1 from the Operations Room. Let's dive right into it, my friends.
Seven B-52s take off from Barksdale Air Force Base in Louisiana. In 35 hours' time, when they return, a war will have started, and they will have set a new record for the longest bombing raid in history.
Oh hell!
A year prior, in 1990, high levels of oil production in the state of Kuwait and other Arab nations are depressing global oil prices. Because of its economic dependency on oil revenue, neighbouring Iraq is struggling to pay $14 billion debts on loans used to finance its war with Iran in the 1980s. It has come to the point where Iraq is now even struggling to pay for basic government spending. Dating from the fall of the Ottoman Empire after World War I, Iraq has maintained sovereign claims over Kuwait. An accusation that Kuwait is slant drilling Iraqi oil fields gives Iraqi President Saddam Hussein an excuse to invade and annex the small nation on the 2nd of August 1990.
A huge nation that claims the country and annexes it. Sound familiar? Well, not for you, because you're American, or I don't know, British or France, whatever you are. You probably are from a big country. But Estonia is tiny, and we have Russia next to us that always wants to take us over. I mean, why do I have this baby back there? Weapon to defend myself, because you never know when Russia is going to attack. So yeah, Estonia is like Kuwait, only much poorer. We don't have any desert.
Following international condemnation and sanctions, British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher and US President George H.W. Bush begin to deploy forces to Saudi Arabia, urging other countries to do the same.
Oh, aircraft carriers!
The UN resolution passes, giving Iraq a deadline of the 15th of January 1991 to completely withdraw from Kuwait. The build-up of coalition forces in Saudi Arabia is called Operation Desert Shield. Over a period of 6 months, 35 nations send a total of approximately 1 million military personnel to Saudi Arabia.
1 million! Hey, I just recently watched the movie, was it Jarhead? It's about the Desert Storm and Desert Shield, and it's a quite cruciating movie. I think Jared Leto was in it. Was it? Maybe I was wrong. But yeah, Jarhead, it's about Desert Storm. It was a really cool movie. So this is about this time here. Now I actually know what the movie was talking about. And also 91 is the year that Estonia got free from the Soviet Union. One small country gets free, another one, like Kuwait, is taken over by Iraq. So yeah, the tables will turn. Also, I want to thank the patrons now. It's a very random moment, but I didn't do it in the intro because maybe you don't want to see that long of intros. So I'm making them shorter and maybe putting the patrons somewhere in the middle of the video. Hope it's fine with you. But we have a big one today. Brandon Scott, a true hero and a legend of this channel, has pledged a very big amount, making it to the famous wall of patrons who are supporting this channel. Thank you, Brandon. You have made my life a bit easier. Thank you so much. Secondly, we have Jeffrey Fox, brother of Megan Fox. Well, lovely. Tell Megan to support also. Thank you, Jeffrey. And finally, we have Bohangles the Wizard. Bohangles, or is it Bojangles the Wizard? I don't know. You're a wizard. Make it so that Russia never attacks Estonia, please. Thank you for being a patron. If you feel generous, you want to support the channel, the Patreon link is in the description below.
The largest military alliance since World War II. 2,230 coalition aircraft are sent to bases in Saudi Arabia, and 6 carrier battle groups are deployed in the region. The coalition war plan is first to wage an air war to achieve dominance of the skies above Iraq, and to strike targets to degrade the Iraqi military for when the ground invasion is launched some weeks later. The first day of the air assault will be the most risky. Iraq has a very dangerous arsenal of air defense systems. 154 SAM sites with 16,000 missiles defend Iraq, alongside a further 972 anti-aircraft artillery guns, 2,404 fixed AA guns, and 6,100 mobile AA guns. Baghdad is likely the most heavily defended city in the world. 478 early warning radars watch the skies for coalition aircraft, with command and control centres ready to scramble the Iraqi Air Force's 550 combat aircraft to respond.
Well, Iraqis had MiGs, right? The Soviet MiGs, because no other country was supporting Iraq except for the Soviets. And the Soviet Union in 91 was already, by January it was gone. No, it wasn't gone. It was still in existence, but it was crumbling already. And the MiGs are outdated, like the T-72s that they had. Watched a video about the Battle of 73 Easting, where Abrams tank destroyed the T-72s like knife through butter. The T-72s couldn't do anything. I imagine the fighters are the same. They're obsolete against, what is it, F-22s? Yeah, F-22s. They are the gods of fighters, right?
The priority for day one of the air campaign will be to degrade the enemy's air defense systems. The deadline passes, and a day later the Great Air Assault on Iraq is put into motion. H hour, the start of the air war, is scheduled for 2:38 AM on the 17th of January.
2:38?
2 hours before.
Who wants to attack at 2:30? Aren't you sleeping at that time? It's night time. I guess that's why they're attacking, because it's dark, but still. Why not wait till the morning? Get a good night's sleep and then charge! That's how I would do it, I think.
For H hour, the B-52s are nearing the end of their long journey from Louisiana, and an enormous armada of aircraft is taking off all over Saudi Arabia and from carriers in the Red Sea and the Arabian Gulf. 2 flights of helicopters, each with a single Pave-Low special operations helicopter and 4 Apache attack helicopters,
oh,
cross the
Apaches!
border at low level.
Cool.
Their call sign is Task Force Normandy. Their job is to sneak up on and shoot up 2 key enemy radar positions. This will cut a vital gap in the radar coverage through which the coalition strike aircraft can stream into Iraq to hit their targets.
I can just imagine all of the Iraqi radars from 2:48 AM when this starts going red, like, enemy aircraft everywhere, Saddam Hussein attack now, defend our country. And there's nothing he can do, because you have obsolete MiGs, and you have T-72s, and 500,000 soldiers that use Kalashnikovs in the bushes. The freedom is attacking. The democracy is attacking. The coalition of democracy and freedom. And guns, because it's America.
E-2 and E-3 airborne warning and control aircraft, referred to as AWACS, are orbiting near the border, directing operations and keeping an eye on Iraqi airspace. Air-to-air refueling tankers are now refueling the aircraft of the enormous First Striking Force over Saudi Arabia. For the last few months, large formations of coalition aircraft have massed every night near the border, so as not to cause a specific alarm in the enemy command structure when the air war does start. What Iraqi radars can't see tonight is the further formations of aircraft massing further away from the border at low level. F-117 stealth aircraft have also crossed the border unescorted and head for Baghdad. It's
Already?
unclear whether their stealth technology will be potent enough to cloak them from the massive fire control radars around the heavily defended city. They are to hit key communications infrastructure in the city, hindering central...
Okay, for me really it seems like the Desert Storm and attacking Iraq, a country which has no chance whatsoever, was really about testing America's new weapons. F-17 stealth aircrafts, the Abrams tanks, B-52s are of course very old planes, but I think they tested a lot of their new technology there, and it really worked against this Soviet technology.
military commanders' ability to coordinate their air defense sites around the country. One of the main targets is the International Communications Center in central Baghdad, through which 50% of all military comms traffic is routed.
Oh, how
These
do you
vital
take that
strikes are
out?
needed to protect the main assault aircraft when they attack in the coming hours. In the end, the stealth bombers circle Baghdad undetected, waiting for H-hour. A few minutes before H-hour, the US Air Force fires the first shots of the war, launching 35 AGM-86 cruise missiles from the Barksdale B-52s at communications sites.
That's a missile? Look at this, that's a plane. Wait, am I making a really stupid mistake here? That is a missile, right? This is huge. I think it could carry people. Look at how big this is. It has wings, and this is a missile. Oh, baby. This one can take out... And the city where I lived when I was a kid was 3,000 people. I think this missile would take out the entire city. Gone, with one explosion.
And power plants. Simultaneously, coalition naval battle groups begin launching Tomahawk cruise missiles at mainly communications targets in Baghdad. Two of the ships launching Tomahawks, the USS Missouri and Wisconsin, are battleships that first saw service in World War II, and will serve their country once more.
For the last time, I guess.
The Tomahawks will navigate to their targets using an onboard system that identifies and follows known landmarks and terrain contours on the route to the target. Because much of the direct route to Baghdad from the Persian Gulf is flat desert, the cruise missiles must follow a longer easterly route over more hilly, trackable terrain near the...
How long can these missiles fly? Look at this. This is a huge distance. How long can they fly?
Iranian border. The missiles fly at subsonic speed, so while these are the first shots to be fired, the US Army would have the honour of the first shots to explode. The two groups of Apaches arrive near two radar sites 30 seconds early, and come to hover in lines of 4 abreast. As they wait for precisely 2:38 AM, they watch the compound through their infrared cameras. At first, it appears that the Iraqis are oblivious to their presence, but with 10 seconds to go, the compound's lights go out, and figures are observed running around outside. At 2:38 AM, H-hour, Desert Storm begins. The Apaches unleash a furious rain of destruction on the radar installations. Hellfire missiles are first aimed at power generators.
Get some!
Further Hellfires and 70mm rockets are fired on radar dishes, command vehicles, and communications antennas as the attack helicopters move in closer. They expend everything they have on the site. Such is the importance to knock out the radar, the Apache crews then move in closer still and engage whatever is left standing with 30mm cannon. An enormous...
And that 30mm cannon is small compared to the missiles, but if you see it in real life, it's ginormous. It shoots a person into little red pieces. And that's what they're doing right now, 4 of them. The bad thing I heard here is that they actually targeted energy production plants, power plants and all of that stuff. Of course you need to take it out as a country if you attack, but still the civilians also suffer because they are losing electricity and all of the infrastructure that takes decades to build, and you just look poof, with 1 minute it's all gone. That's Desert Storm for you.
This explosion ends the attack when an ammunitions dump is hit by cannon fire. During the 4 minutes of destruction, 27 Hellfires, 100 rockets and 4,000 cannon rounds have been unleashed on the site. The crews report in total destruction of the 2 sites for no loss. They turn back to the border. The first aircraft of the first strike wave screams overhead. The air war is underway. 3 EF-111 radar jamming aircraft rush towards Baghdad to provide
Radar jamming aircraft. I've never heard about such a thing. I'm just thinking about the uses. You can fly and jam the radars at the same time. I'm sure you all knew about this, but for me this is like, what? I thought radar jamming is a thing you do. It's like a cyber warfare. You do it from your own soil and you just, send a lot of information the radar's way. But if you have a moving plane that is able to jam everything, then you don't even have to take out the radars like the helicopters did. You can just fly the planes and they jam everything, and then you have a cap to fly all of your fighters through. Or, I don't know, I'm just speculating here. Cool!
Jamming support for the F-117s in case they are detected. With coalition aircraft streaming into Iraq, it's crucial that the stealth bombers knock out comms infrastructure. To maintain stealth, the F-117s are unable to use their radios to report on progress. Commanders at the Coalition Tactical Air Control Center, the TAC, won't know if the crucial task has been successfully completed until the aircraft are near the Saudi border on their return journey. The strike aircraft will be deep inside Iraq by then. But this is the first major war to take place during the new age of communications and international live television.
Yeah, it's the first one, so I'm telling you, they're testing their weapon and their stealth technology and their communications. This is the first war. They need this war to test their stuff, because if you make a lot of military equipment and you cannot test it on a mass scale, you don't really know if it works. This is the perfect place to test it. I feel bad for the Iraqi citizens who are to this day suffering from this war. Iraq has never recovered.
Believing the imminent start of the new conflict after the UN deadline passing, live news channels have sent reporters into Baghdad. At the TAC, they spot that a reporter is live on CNN, reporting hearing aircraft over the city. The news streams almost definitely route through the International Communications Center, a primary target for the F-117s.
Oh yeah.
CNN is put up on the large screens in the TAC. At 0300, the precise moment the first bombs should be falling on target, CNN lose the live feed from their reporter on the ground. A cheer erupts at the TAC. The first F-117 strikes stir the hornet's nest, and 2,000 anti-aircraft guns in Baghdad open fire into the night sky.
2,000 guns open fire. Oh god. I mean, this looks like I think it looks greater than the greatest fireworks in the world, but still it's destructive.
Protect the aircraft from radar-guided missiles, but blindly fired anti-aircraft fire in such volume will be equally deadly if a lucky direct hit is scored. They drop 17 paveway guided bombs on 13 targets, radio towers, command bunkers, and a palace just outside the city, incorrectly believed to have been housing Saddam Hussein himself. Shortly after, the first of 116 Navy-launched Tomahawks begin to fall on Baghdad, hitting party headquarters, a Scud ballistic missile factory, another presidential palace, and other targets of importance. A British journalist watches from his Baghdad hotel window as a Tomahawk screams past him at eye level down the street and hits the Ministry of Defence building at the end of it. Some Tomahawks carry special warheads which contain long strips of carbon filament. These missiles fly over power transformers and switching stations and release these strips into them, causing the electrical components to spark, short out, and burst into flames. 5 electrical generation facilities, including the Al Musayib Thanal power plant. After a grueling flight across the Atlantic and Mediterranean to get here,
well, we're talking about power plants, we're talking about nuclear power, right? It's really dangerous to do this. You can have a nuclear fallout, can't you? I mean, you can have a meltdown, right? And the effects would be felt all over the world, not only Iraq. So this is, I'm sure they knew what they were doing, otherwise they wouldn't have attacked a nuclear plant. I just watched the show Chernobyl. I mean, this stuff is dangerous. Weren't they? If you know anything about how are they so confident about exploding the nuclear facility without being afraid of it having a meltdown? I wouldn't be afraid of this. I've seen Chernobyl. This stuff is scary.
The B-52s will now fly back to Louisiana without landing. The 14,000-mile mission takes 35 hours, requiring 57 tanker sorties, a demonstration of American global reach.
Holy hell, man.
With Iraqi
Holy
command
hell.
and control seriously degraded, the 668-strong first wave of strike aircraft with fighter escort begin hitting military targets across Iraq, SAM sites, Scud missile sites, command and control bunkers and airfields. RAF Tornado and US Navy F-14 interceptor aircraft patrol the Iraqi border and orbit Iraqi Air Force bases waiting for the enemy fighters to come out to fight. One formation, a strike package of F-15E Strike Eagles, escorted by F-15C fighters and an EF-111 radar jamming aircraft, hit Scud missile launch sites in the western desert, attempting to prevent Scud launches against nearby Israel. With the alarm now raised, the Iraqi Air Force is in the air defending their nation, setting up combat air patrols near key installations. With the strikes against the launchers underway, an F-15 detects a single Iraqi Mirage fighter nearby and destroys it with a Sparrow missile. Another Mirage moves in close behind the low-flying EF-111 and fires a missile. The 111 makes a violent turn and evades. At this point, an F-15 above spots the hostile aircraft and dives in to engage. Spotting the attacking Eagle, the Mirage itself makes a violent maneuver to evade the American fighter, but in doing so crashes into the ground.
Oh
The unarmed EF-111 pilot is credited with a maneuvering kill.
Maneuver and kill. That's... there's a mobility kill, there's a KIA, MIA, killed in action, missing in action, mobility kill, you know, you destroy the tracks of the tank, it cannot move, that's a mobility kill. But that's a maneuver kill. Never heard about that. You got 1 point for maneuver kill. You maneuvered good.
Another F-15C Eagle has just crossed the border into Iraq, and the pilot detects a distant, unidentified contact on his radar. Rules of engagement require the pilot to ask one of the E-3 command and control aircraft for permission to fire.
Oh hell,
The
that
contact
takes
begins to
time.
maneuver aggressively, and the E-3 grants permission to fire. The long-range Sparrow missile flies into the distance, and the pilot sees the fireball as it detonates. The enemy aircraft downed is a modern and dangerous MiG-29 Fulcrum,
Yeah, they
piloted
had...
by a veteran of the Iran-Iraq War with 3 kills on his record. A flight of F-4G Wild Weasel aircraft are some of the many aircraft on their way to Baghdad to...
Look how many planes, how many aircraft. Each of those is worth millions, hundreds of millions. They're very expensive. I mean, F-35, yeah, the most expensive fighter in the world, but those still were really expensive planes. 50, 60, 70, maybe 80 million a piece. And look how many of them are there. Many waves, many different countries working together to just put all of their most expensive tech into this war effort. To attack a country that doesn't even have modernized weaponry, modernized technology. I mean, yeah, Iraq had the 4th largest army in the world back then, but still they had obsolete Soviet planes. The newest technology they had, I think, was those MiG fighters. Everything else is obsolete. T-72s definitely.
to attack radar sites and SAM sites. Because of the volume of coalition assets in the area, the escorting F-15s are constantly investigating potentially hostile contacts that turn out to be friendly. After a few false alarms, Captain Steve Tate finally finds an enemy Mirage. He engages with a Sparrow missile, and the fireball confirms the kill. Multiple flights of aircraft are inbound to Baghdad to attack SAM and radar sites. Given the heavy air defences around the city, this could be a treacherous task. The US Navy aircraft make their first major play of the night. A-6 intruders to the west launch decoy glider drones towards the city, intended to trick the defending SAM sites into switching on their radars. It works, and many surface-to-air missiles are launched against them.
Surface-to-air missiles, quite expensive, very advanced weaponry actually, I take back the words I said, but they are decoy drones. So they will expend their ammunition, and it takes time to reload and everything. They will expend it on those decoy drones, and now the fighters can attack. Now, if I really just sounded very stupid, forgive me, I'm an infantryman. I don't know anything about this, but it seems genius. That's what I think what happens. They are going to attack the drones, and then the fighters will take them by surprise from the other angle. Whew! You have been tricked, Mr. Hussein.
The Iraqis believe they've scored multiple kills. What they don't see are the
No
US
kills.
Navy FA-18 Hornets armed with high-speed anti-radar missiles,
my God.
HARMs, coming in behind. The HARMs lock onto the radar signals coming from the SAM sites on the ground as they engage the drones. A further 37 BQM-74 jet-powered drones approach from the south and orbit the city. Some are shot down by MiGs, but the rest are tracked and engaged by the SAM sites on the ground. The F-4s and FA-18s move in and launch 75 harms, destroying approximately 35 installations. The idea of offering bait drone aircraft to the air defences for the wild weasels to engage is that of Brigadier General Larry Pooh-Bah Henry.
It's a genius idea.
During Desert Storm becomes known as Pooh-Bah's Party. Another flight of 4 FA-18s are approaching the large airbase H-3 in western Iraq with an E-2 Hawkeye carrier-launched early warning aircraft above. A pair of MiG-29s move to engage the Hornets, but F-15s dive in and easily add 2 more kills to their impressive and growing tally. With 30 miles to go, the E-2 calls out 2 elderly MiG-21s aggressively attacking head-on.
MiG-21's elderly, obsolete. I mean, MiG-29s were taken out by the F-15s, and now MiG-23s or MiG-21s are coming, which are older and not that reliable anymore. They don't stand a chance, really. How many MiGs would they need to even have a fighting chance? They would need literally over 1,000 of them, I think, because the Allied had over 600 aircraft, and most of them very modernized fighters. And we're talking about obsolete MiGs here, and only a few of them. No way they stand a chance.
The Hornets are impressive multi-role aircraft. Lieutenant Commander Fox switches from ground attack to air-to-air mode with the flick of a switch. He locks onto one MiG, while his wingman locks onto the other. Fox fires a Sidewinder missile, and his wingman fires a Sparrow. Both hit. Both pilots calmly switch their aircraft back to ground attack mode, and almost without breaking step complete their bombing raid on the airfield.
What the
A
hell?
powerful demonstration of the efficiency of multi-role aircraft in modern warfare.
Multi-role aircraft, that's what we're talking about. Like F-22 is supposed to be air-to-air, that's where it's best, you know, dogfights. It's agile, it's fast, it's maneuverable. You can shoot down other planes with it really easy. Of course, it can engage targets on the ground, but the F-35 is really supposed to be the multi-role fighter that takes out the fighters in the air and targets on the ground. Multi-role fighters, that's what it's supposed to be. That's why it's supposedly so expensive, because it's made for everything. Don't blame me for being stupid. I read about this stuff, that's what they say. You have different opinions, just put them in the comments and I'll read them and we can have our little arguing duel there.
Further B-52s and F-111s drop conventional bombs on the elite Iraqi Army Corps, the Republican Guard, to soften them up and as a show of the military power that they're up against. It's claimed that fear of the B-52's conventional bombing capability caused mass Iraqi surrenders later on in the war. A B-52 is hit by a US missile in a friendly fire incident and crashes on the way home.
First kill of Desert Storm. First kill is a friendly fire. Oh my god. No, that's bad. Some people died, I guess. Whew, how do you report this stuff? Casualties. 2 pilots of B-52 training exercise. That's the reason. No, it was a friendly kill. Friendly fire in the Desert Storm. Bad luck there.
The air assault is going nearly perfectly at this point, but the TAC planners know that statistically their luck must change. And it does. A squadron of FA-18s from the USS Saratoga, known as the Sunliners, are on their way to take part in Pooh-Bah's party, when the leader detects a MiG-25 interceptor in front of them. He requests permission from the AWACS to engage, but the AWACS radar can't find the bandit, and so permission is denied.
Oh no!
There are hundreds of coalition aircraft in the air, so rules of engagement are tight to reduce friendly fire.
Yeah,
the MiG slips away.
Okay. I was talking, you need to make decisions fast, you cannot really ask permission, but yeah, that's when friendly fire happens if you don't ask permission. I guess they have to have very tight communication with this to make sure they're shooting the enemies, not the friendlies, and if they say no, don't shoot, you gotta obey, otherwise shoot down your own plane.
But later shoots down another Hornet in the squadron, killing Lieutenant Commander Michael Speicher. Dawn breaks in the desert, and further waves move in. The British Tornadoes have perhaps the most dangerous job of the first 24 hours. 12 aircraft scream over the desert at just 200 feet towards Talil Air Base. The RAF's 2-seater Tornado GR-1 is a specialist in runway busting. In the first day of a hypothetical hot war with the Soviet Union, tornadoes would maraud over the border into Eastern Europe to neutralise enemy airfields. Today they carry their specialist weapon, the JP-233.
So tornadoes were the ones that were supposed to be attacking Estonia. With the war with the Soviet Union, Estonia was one of the most western part of the Soviet. It was the most western part of the Soviet Union. In Estonia there were many Soviet airfields, so tornadoes back then were designed to actually attack Estonian Soviet airfields to take away Soviets' air capabilities. So if war would have happened, the city Tartu where I live had one of the biggest Soviet airfields actually. Raadi lennuväli, the Raadi airfield. I would have seen those tornadoes bombing that airfield. That's how it is. The Soviets planted a lot of air power in Estonia because that was the border with NATO, border with the Western powers. I'm glad the war didn't happen. Now we're allied.
A system that drops a combination of 30 runway cratering bomblets on the runway and 215 anti-personnel mines to hinder the repair process after. Anti-aircraft fire is much heavier than expected as they line up on the two parallel runways at 180 feet. Pushing through the barrage, each aircraft releases its two JP-233 dispensers. The runways are shredded, and the anti-personnel mines are scattered across both runways and across the airfield, waiting to punish any repair workers who attempt to make the runways operational again.
Yeah, you're just an Iraqi repair worker. You're just going to do your job. You don't really support Saddam Hussein because the people really didn't like him. Some of them, quite a big part of the people didn't like him. They just went to work and boom, you step on a mine because the British dropped it there. Just feel bad for the civilian populations.
Again. All aircraft make it out, but the crew report that the flak was heavier than forecast, and that they were in fact very lucky to make it back undamaged. A short time later, in the southeast of Iraq, another wing of 4 tornadoes approach our Ramallah airbase at low level, each this time with 8 conventional 1,000-pound bombs. Just before the target, the aircraft will pull up into a climb and release their bombs, thereby throwing the bombs in an arc at the target.
Oh.
The downward momentum when they hit allows the bombs to penetrate into the ground before exploding.
So the plane goes like that, it has the bomb, pulls up, and the velocity goes up, and then it releases the bomb, so the bomb will go like that, and the power the bomb gets when going down, with the gravity, puts it in the ground. But what's it supposed to do? Why does it have to go in the ground?
Maximizing damage.
Because
the bombs are released at range, a target computer calculates the precise release moments during the climb.
Oh my god.
Flight Lieutenants John Peters, the pilot, and John Nichol, the navigator, begin their attack.
2 Johns.
Ferocious flak opens up on them, and their aircraft is physically buffeted by the nearby explosions. They begin their climb. There's a problem. They have some kind of fault in their targeting computer, and it's not releasing their bombs. They continue to climb as they try to quickly rectify the problem. They're now almost twice the height they should be, and very vulnerable. Peters aborts and rolls the aircraft nearly upside down to bank and dive away. Descending and accelerating, they make for safety, but just after they level out, they're hit by a shoulder-launched SAM. Both men eject, but are captured by the Iraqis, suffering severe maltreatment. The airstrikes continue without
First 2 pilots captured by the Iraqis. Damn, I would love to know their story.
rest throughout the day, against military and communications
This is the
installations
first day
across the country.
only.
By day, A-10 Warthogs hit radar sites along the Iraqi border,
Warthogs!
similar to those that the Apaches hit during the night.
Yeah.
U-2 spy planes overfly Iraq to search for mobile Scud launchers. Special operations helicopters loiter near Baghdad to pick up downed aircrew. Further coalition aircraft join the strikes from bases in Turkey. 12 French Jaguars attack the Scud missile facility at the Ahmed Al-Jaber Air Base in Kuwait, and 4 take heavy damage from flak. The coalition takes some further losses throughout the day, mostly from anti-aircraft fire on low-level missions. In the evening, 4 elderly A-6 intruders are the latest to approach Airbase H3 with laser-guided bombs. They split into 2 pairs and attack from different directions at low level. One aircraft is hit by a SAM. The crew eject and are later captured. Another aircraft is hit, but makes it to Saudi Arabia. Over the first 24 hours of the air war, 2,775 sorties are conducted against strategic Iraqi targets. The Iraqi Air Force flies just 120 sorties, losing 8 aircraft. Some of the Iraqi jets flee to their recent enemy Iran. 19 coalition aircraft are lost or damaged in day 1.
19. Alright, 19. That's a minor loss compared to 2,400 sorties that they did. That's a very minor loss. I would say this first 24 hours was a major success.
Saddam Hussein declares that the mother of all battles has begun. The air assault continues for 5 weeks, pounding the Iraqi military at a rate of 2,500 bombing sorties per day.
You can see those flames here. I mean, in the Jarhead movie they said these were the oil wells set ablaze, which is horrible. Some of them actually were only recently put out. They're very hard to extinguish, and they put out so much CO2 that they were one of the biggest polluters back then. It's really hard to put them out, especially when war is going on. And it's just burning raw oil and burning the gases that are left over. It's really bad. They did a horrible thing for climate. I think Greta Thunberg would not like them.
A day. Largely, the Iraqi Air Force, the 4th largest air force in the world, doesn't come out in full force to fight, and therefore the dangerous low-level attacks on airfields are reduced in favour of hitting mobile Scud launchers. 39 coalition aircraft are lost in combat during the air campaign, with another 36 lost in accidents. Gradually, attacks are shifted towards degrading the Iraqi military itself. The ground invasion of Iraq to liberate Kuwait will begin on the 24th of February.
Oh, this video was cool. I like this stuff, my friends. I can do it more. Put it in the comments. I'll watch more of the operations room. They have so many cool videos. I never watched them before, actually. This is the first one. And I would love to share these videos with you. And I will if you want to see them. If you noticed, I didn't put the Stone and Soldier hat competition into this video. No Rehi ad also. I'll put them in the next ones, but I'll tone them down a little bit. Because your feedback, some of you guys said that I do it too much. Well, alright, I'll do it less often now. I'll do it, but less often, so you won't get bothered. It's very important for me that you like my videos. It's truly important for me. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being a Patreon. If you're not, go and become a Patreon. Thank you for getting the fish shirt, my friends. And as always, until my next video, stay cool and bye-bye.